To the dunes that day. We had a real nice time, had a lot of fun, got sunburned. So here we are. This is where stuff gets unloaded, including alt paper, old papier, old paper. Well, we've got a loader here loading up a truck. I don't know what to do about this now. Well, that doesn't look like a good way to pack that paper in there to me. It's pressing down on the side of the truck. So we got rid of all that. The Pontiac suffered to some extent also with our misuse, not just driving it fast, which wasn't really misuse. It was pretty much built for that. But I insisted on running it with the air cleaners off, and it caught on fire. And I also was sure that I could get the 0 to 60 time down below whatever it was, and blew the clutch. Oh man, it blew the flywheel, exploded. And finally Jim's dad got upset enough with us that he said that Jim should get his own car, which was pretty nice solution to the problem as far as we were concerned. So we found an XK120 Jaguar in a newspaper. I mean, an advertisement in a newspaper. And we Went and looked at it. It was white. It was in the middle of the winter. There was snow on the ground. It was white, and it was pretty. It was kind of rough, but it was complete, and it ran, and the price was right. I don't recall if it was like $1,200 or something. It was inexpensive in any case. But we bought it. I tuned it up as well as I could. It wasn't running real well, and I got new points for it and put new plugs in it, and we took it out on the freeway and took it up to about 75 miles per hour, and it started making an unfortunate noise. And I got out and checked the oil, and then I saw that in the oil there was some lumps. And we took it to a friend of ours. It's quite a well-known racing mechanic, Norm Esau. And Norm looked at it and looked at the oil, and he said, you know, they've put sawdust in the oil here because the rod bearings are probably out. And so we talked to Jim's dad about it, and he stopped payment on the check, which hadn't been cashed yet. And we gave the car back. The guy was furious, but he said he didn't know anything about anything in the oil. He had bought it the way it was, and so on and so forth. But be that as it may, we were out of that deal, and we had absolutely no possibility at that time. My gosh, we were 19 years old, I guess, and neither one of us had any real experience with rebuilding engines or anything like that. So rebuilding a Jaguar engine, it turned out, would be my fate the next year or so later, or a year or so later. But at the time, it didn't make any sense. With that, we went to a guy, I can't remember his name, in Hammond, Indiana. He repaired and serviced all kinds of foreign cars, and he had an MGA which he said had been modified, was much faster than any of the other MGAs, had a smashed left rear fender, I believe. It was a kind of a funny aqua green color, blue-green color. Long story short, we bought it, and over the next year then completely rebuilt it, did a complete fender off, body off restoration down to the frame. I rebuilt the suspension. The engine was fine. I didn't have to do anything. It had the guy that we bought it from said it had twin cam pistons in it, which I doubt is even possible, but I never found out for sure. In any case, the car was very fast. Very fast for an MGA of the day anyway. We also took it to the drag strip. And beat everything in our class. They knew that it wasn't stock, but back then, and as today probably, foreign cars, they didn't really take foreign cars seriously at the drag strip anyway, so they just let us go, and we got one trophy after the other. the other side to the car being fast was that we had to use Sunoco 260 fuel in it. It was the only thing that would, if I set the ignition, the timing at all right, it was the only thing that wouldn't knock, which made driving it expensive at the time. Nowadays, of course, well, that's nowadays. In any case, we drove that car a lot. I think probably over 50 or 60,000 miles. We drove it out to the west, to the Rocky Mountains. Went through all the major state parks, national parks, and even confronted a bear who seemed to think the car was quite interesting. We were off in Yellowstone, in what's called the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and we were taking pictures, and a lady behind us said, "Is that your little red car, boys?" And we thought, oh my God, what's wrong now? Yes, well, there's a bear in it, she said. So we ran back to the car, me with my camera in hand, or I think we both had our cameras, and we stood there staring as the bear moved around in the car. And he got out then, and then Jim said, "Did you get a picture?" And I said, "Did you get a picture?" Neither one of us had thought to raise our camera. But that didn't bother the bear. When he noticed that we hadn't taken any pictures, he turned around and got back in the car. And this time I was poised with my camera, and he looked at the speedometer, and I think he was probably disappointed that it only went to 110 miles per hour. And there was, amazingly enough, there was chocolate in one of the side pockets in the door. And he should have just torn the whole door apart to get to it, but he didn't even seem to notice. He did no damage at all. There were no scratches on the seats or anything. So that was our experience there. Then another experience with the bear. We were driving, and the car was very, very slow. I had to set the ignition way, way back up there in the mountains. And we were driving along, and a big black bear moved right in next to the car. And I said, "Jim, go faster." He said, "I've got the pedal down to the floor." It was going uphill, and that bear was actually faster than we were. And he was practically sniffing at my right arm. But, and I think Jim finally hit the brakes and turned around or something, with the bear anyway left us alone. We had other experiences with bears that I'll tell you about sometime. Anyway, that was the EMG. We repainted it, and we ran some rallies with it with mixed success. Not much success, I must say, but it had nothing to do with the car. And finally, Jim sold the MG. Oh, I was going to pass. There's a tractor trailer and a tractor with a wagon and a truck in front of us. So I won't pass. I can't remember why Jim wanted to sell the car. the MG. It was running fine. I don't remember what the... Oh, when we got... Well, I don't know what happened. But he decided to sell it, and we went to the Chevy dealer and ordered a turbocharged Corvair, which was brand new at the time. I'm not the Corvair, it was new, but this turbocharged model was brand new. And it was supposed to be very fast. And they had trouble delivering it. They gave us a date to deliver it, but in fact it didn't come and didn't come and didn't come. And then I heard about a Chevy mechanic. In fact, it was one of their own mechanics who was selling his Corvette, a 59 white Corvette with blue door inserts and a modified engine with, he said, oh, we saw it on the dynamometer, in fact, at 330 horsepower at the rear wheel. And we bought it. Jim bought it. Jim's dad bought it, to be more exact. The price was sure right. I think it was around, I don't think it was much more than $2,000. And it had the close ratio 4-speed, and the brakes had been worked over. The suspension, he had put some heavy-duty shocks in it, or some sport shocks, and it was pretty rough. But it did handle better than a standard Corvette did at the time. And oh, I loved that car. Oh, I just loved that car. It was the first car that I had ever driven with a close ratio 4-speed and over 300 horsepower. And it really did move. Oh my gosh, it was just wonderful. It was just wonderful. Once you got it into second gear and slammed the accelerator to the floor, those 2-barrel carburetors just sucked the gas tank empty. That car used gas. Oh my word. That was really amazing how fast you could empty a tank. Those big 4-barrel carbs and that real lumpy cam that kept the intake valves open for much longer than they were ever designed to be, I think. Yeah, that was a very nice car. We drove it for a long time too, or a while too anyway, and probably put 50 or 60,000 miles on it. It had it was fast at the drag strip too. And we also actually did some parking lot Gymkhana races with it, which it was did amazingly well at.